Good morning, students. This is the fifth video or the fifth module of your chapter Law of Supply. Moving on to the topics done till now, we have done law of supply, the different kind of supply schedule, individual supply schedule and market supply schedule and their diagram. To on to the exceptions to the law of supply. What is meant by exceptions to the law of supply? We very well know that law of supply states that when the price increases, the quantity supplied also increases, and when the price falls, the quantity supplied also falls. So exceptions are the cases where law of supply does not apply. It means that when price increases, quantity supplied does not increase, or when price decreases, the quantity supplied does not decrease. Exceptions are those cases. So there are two exceptions, vertical supply curve and backward sloping supply curve. Let us do them one by one. The first one being vertical supply curve. What is meant by a vertical supply curve? Okay, now let us read about it. In case of rare goods such as classical paintings, you know the painting of Mona Lisa? Old stamps, old coins, the supply is fixed. Because these goods are rare and they are not manufactured or they are not available, we cannot make them. Can you make old stamps and old coins again? No. A painting once made years ago cannot be made now again. So the supply of such commodities is fixed. It cannot be increased or decreased with the change in price. Some classical paintings made years ago, Mona Lisa painting or any old coin or old stamp, they are not available now. So the supply is fixed. The supply of these commodities cannot be increased or decreased even when the price changes. So this is the supply curve. It's a vertical supply curve. What does it mean? How to make the curve? This is x-axis, this is y-axis. Quantity supplied, price. Quantity supplied, price. Now, while making this curve, you will make a vertical line like this, and then you can see the price is P, the price rises to P1. Initial price is P, the price rises to P1. But the quantity remains same at Q. Whatever may be the rise in price, the quantity supplied remains the same. Okay. We move on to backward sloping supply curve. What is meant by a backward sloping supply curve and what are the cases of backward sloping supply curve? We will deal with it. Backward sloping supply curve occurs in the case of labor supply. Let us read first. When the price rises, the quantity supplied increases, but at very high price, the quantity supplied is decreasing. Why? This is because initially workers work more to earn high wages, but at a very high wage rate, the workers prefer leisure over work, and so the quantity supplied decreases. Now let me explain this concept. What happens with the labor supply is that whenever a labor is working, okay, when he is getting high wages, okay, the wages are high, he will produce more and the quantity supplied will increase. Try to understand what I am saying. When the wages will increase, he will get more money. Initially, he will be ready to work more and more. Okay, but a point of time will come when he will get tired. And at higher wage rate, he will be ready to supply because previously he was preferring work over leisure. When the wage rate was increasing, he was ready to work more and more. But at a very high wage rate, he prefers to rest. Okay, at a very high wage rate, he knows he is getting the money, so he will prefer leisure over work. So please look at this diagram, how it is. The curve is like this, so it is backward sloping. Let me explain. Initially, you will start the curve from here. Okay, initially the producer is increasing the supply. You can see here it's like this. It means the curve here from here means Initially at higher rates, he is ready to work more. A point will come. This is the turning point. Okay, this is the SS curve and this is the turning point T. At this point T, he has stopped working. Now from this point onwards, he will prefer leisure over work and the quantity supplied will decrease. You can see here P, wage rate is here, quantity is here. P and Q. P and Q. Wages and quantity. After this is a very high wage rate. At this position, he is not willing to work anymore. He wants to rest. Okay, so when the wage rate increases, the price or the wage rate increases, he will supply less. P1, Q1. Wage rate is increasing from P to P1. Wage rate is increasing. Quantity supplied is reducing. Okay, so at this position, he is preferring leisure over work. He doesn't want to work, and as a result, at a higher wage rate, the supply decreases. At a higher wage rate, the supply decreases. Okay, now this concept we'll be doing today. This is the last concept of your chapter, supply. Movement along the same supply curve and shift in the supply curve. Movement is also called change in quantity supplied and shift is also called change in supply. Now the first point, movement happens due to what and shift happens due to what? You very well remember there is when we were studying the factors affecting supply, the most important factor is the price. And all other factors are non-price factors. Okay, the most important factors is price, and all the other factors other than the price are termed as other factors, like technology, natural factors, price of related commodities. Okay, whatever we had studied, state of technology, okay, transport and communication, all these comes under other factors affecting supply. Okay, and there is one, that is price of the commodity. Movement happens due to change in only and only price, and shift happens due to change in other factors. Other factors affecting supply other than the price, that is transport and communication, natural factors, taxes, subsidies, whatever we have studied till now. Okay, so due to change in price there is movement, and due to change in other factors there is shift. There are two kinds under movement, expansion of supply and contraction of supply, and in shift there are two concepts, increase in supply and decrease in supply. In movement there is downward or upward movement along the same supply curve, and in shift there is rightward or leftward shift of the entire supply curve. Now first we will do the movement concept. As you can see, movement happens only and only because of price. Movement happens only and only because of price. Quantity supplied, price. Okay, you make this SS curve first. Okay, right here quantity supplied, price, XY axis, SS curve you make. This is the initial P, this is the initial Q. When the price increases, the quantity also increases, correct? When the price is increasing from P to P1, the quantity is also increasing from Q to Q1. It leads to expansion of supply. On the other hand, coming back to P and Q, this is P. When the price reduces from P to P2, quantity reduces from Q to Q2. Check. Price is reducing, quantity is also reducing. This A to C position is shown by contraction. A to B upward movement is expansion, A to C downward movement is contraction of supply. Moving on to the shift concept. Shift is happening due to other factors. Okay, example, we take the example of state of technology. When there is improvement in technology, improvement in state of technology, the supply will increase, and in case the technology use is outdated, the supply will decrease. Again I am repeating. Okay, in this case the shift of supply happens at the same price. Why it's the same price? Because it is changed due to other factors. Price remains the same, but all other factors affecting supply changes. So x and y axis will make price and quantity supplied, make x axis, y axis, price and quantity supplied. This is the initial price P. Okay, this is the same price P. Now, first you will make SS curve. Okay, this is the SS curve. There is an increase in the supply. What could be the reason? There is improvement in technology. The state of technology is improved. So as a result, the supply increased. So the increase is shown by shift in position A to B, SS to S1, S1. A to B, the quantity also increases. And in case a technology used is outdated, there will be decrease in supply. SS is the curve, there will be decrease to S2, S2. From SS to S2, S2. A to C position shows decrease in supply. Expansion of supply and contraction of supply. Let us deal with this concept. Expansion of supply and contraction of supply both are concept of movement along the same supply curve. It means both of these happen due to change in own price of the commodity. Okay, check. Quantity supplied increases due to rise in price. Quantity supplied decreases due to fall in price. In expansion, the quantity supplied will increase due to rise in price. In contraction, quantity supplied will decrease due to fall in price. Now, expansion happens due to rise in price. Contraction happens due to fall in price. In expansion, there is upward movement. We have done in the diagram right now. And in contraction, there is downward movement along the same supply curve. To clarify, we'll see the diagrams again. Please check expansion of supply and contraction of supply. Now, again, how to make the diagram? X and Y axis you are making, right? X and Y axis, price and quantity supplied. Here also X and Y axis, price and quantity supplied. Okay, these are X and Y axis, and what do they signify? This has to be written, it's necessary. Okay, now check it. What happens? The price rises in expansion and the price falls in contraction, right? So let's check this once. Price increases from P to P1, quantity also increases. We'll make the supply curve first, right? We'll make the supply curve SS first. It's an upward sloping curve. PQ, P1, Q1. Okay, price increases, quantity also increases. Price increases, quantity also increases. There is a upward movement from A to B. Okay, A to B, showing expansion of supply. Again, price, quantity supplied, will make the SS curve first. We'll make the supply curve SS first. Initial price, initial quantity, PQ, and we'll make P1, Q1. SS बनाया, फिर PQ, फिर P1, Q1. Okay, now you check. Price falls, quantity also falls. Okay, price falls, quantity also falls. Position A to B. Downward movement from A to B on the same supply curve. Downward movement along the same supply curve. A to B shows contraction of supply. That's it for today, students. We'll continue in the next module, and that day we are going to complete with the chapter supply. Thank you.